Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video. And today, I really believe we have a very interesting subject to discuss. Namely, we're gonna be talking about the decoupling. And what that basically means in easy terms is XRP moving independent from Bitcoin. We have put this theory up a couple of days ago already because, well, XRP was pumping like crazy, even though Bitcoin really wasn't doing that much. And now a lot of people have been asking me that in the comment section, so I want to analyze. Now, first of all, before we get into this, I have a couple of things to say. One, make sure you check out Bybit. A link is down below. It's the exchange that I use, and you can get up to $1,600 worth of bonuses for free. So once more, go ahead, check it out. Then, one little fun fact is that right now I checked out the trading competition that's over on Bybit that was ongoing. You know what a fun fact is? That the whole top list here of guys all were trading XRP on Bitcoin, but mostly XRP. The people who won this competition with the best profit and loss, so basically these guys made 4,000%, 3,500%, 3,300% on their trades, all in all in XRP, because that's, again, the coin. You can see 9 out of the top 10 winners, and these guys are all winning significant amounts of money. We're all trading XRP. So guys, when I tell you that it's crazy, it is crazy, right? And well, bada boom, bada bang, right? That's pretty, at least to me, that is pretty cool to know. And most likely, at least I hope, that some of the guys here are also part of the team. Because make sure you understand, guys, in a couple of days, there's a Bybit team competition starting, and you guys can all participate in our DustyBC team. And hopefully, there's a lot of XRP cool guys over there, which would be nice. All right, can XRP decouple from Bitcoin and the rest of crypto anytime soon? That's again the question. Well, an easy answer is yes. And I've gotten so many different correlation charts and little tables here to kind of get myself into the right mindset and picture. But to be honest with you guys, a correlation chart actually doesn't do that much. Why? Well, think about it from this perspective. XRP right now is showing a 0.5 correlation with Bitcoin. That is on a 1 year. On a 30 days, it's showing a 0.54. On a 7 days, showing a 0.60. And on a 24 hour, it's showing a 0.64. The problem being, Bitcoin, generally speaking, moves in the same direction. Yet, XRP moves with a lot more severity. So, maybe we should look at the standard deviation to kind of put that into perspective. Well, yeah, but then again, no, because usually it doesn't happen that much. So we can, theoretically speaking, use the standard deviation, which I did not have here, to kind of look as to what the normal volatility of XRP would be and the normal volatility of Bitcoin, and then compare it to each other. Yet, if we then look again at Ethereum, the correlation with Bitcoin is like 0.92. In comparison to XRP, that is ridiculously high. Specifically, over any time frame, XRP and ADA have a pretty low little number, right, if you compare it to Ethereum and Litecoin. Which leads me to wonder about, a couple of things, like, for example, how much does the correlation coefficient matter, right? How much does it matter? How much can it do? From a certain perspective, you might think it's important, but then again, a 0.5 here is not really a strong connection. It's not the 0.0 or 0.1, which would basically show no correlation whatsoever, that Tether has, for example. But 0.5 is definitely weak at best, which it's always been, though, is the difficult part. It's not like it's really decoupling now in terms of correlation. Over the last 24 hours, it's still 0.64. And the fun fact is that even though XRP had such a massive difference in percentage, you don't really notice it that much in the correlation. Because think about it like this. Bitcoin today, or yesterday, let's say, went down like 2%. XRP went up, let's say, about 25%. Yet, it's not really anywhere in the statistics, this little crazy endeavor or anything like that, right? Well, how can we measure it then? It's really actually quite difficult. And I've noticed a lot of people have done or tried this in the past, and I'm not sure if this has actually updated itself, but I would personally think that if we were to take a little bit of a list, that XRP, in terms of real correlation with Bitcoin, actually steps quite low, where Ethereum is quite high. And so if you're kind of drawing that question in, here was an article from a little while ago on CoinMarketCap. Bitcoin correlation with XRP reaches 3-year low, and that's a good thing. This is actually a little bit older already. I was typing in what XRP to BTC correlation, but I noticed that you can't actually view this anymore from a couple of months ago. And I do wonder exactly how it's looking like right now in terms of correlation, and if it's actually at a low or not. but it's kind of difficult to see because the article got deleted. Now, before we continue on, I want you all to quickly put down below, do you think XRP has decoupled? Well, again, to kind of put this into perspective, the XRP price usually moves down, at least for the majority of parts, on the BTC pair. So basically, XRP to BTC is more often down than up. It kind of feels like it's not really up that many days, and mostly it feels like it's kind of a downtrend that's continuing on / going sideways. But again, we're zooming out right now on a daily perspective, and over the last couple of years, it's really been looking like it's only gone down and down and down since the end of 2018. But right now, since about the start of this year, it's looking like things are finally starting to change, because we're seeing that from a bigger downtrend that was going on, it's finally starting to look like it peaked right there, and we're seeing a little bit of a curve right here happening, a little bit along the lines of this. Hopefully, something along those lines. It could definitely be. And at one point or another, it has to change up. It has to switch up. Bitcoin right now is worth about 44% of the entire market cap. And so Bitcoin will always determine the side which we're going to go. However, independent moves are more and more apparent in bullish markets. And right now, we are in an extremely greedy / bullish period. ADA went up mostly because of news, yet XRP right now for the last couple of days hasn't actually gotten itself that much news, which does make a little bit more sense for the correlation, because again, Bitcoin and XRP are both going up because that's the way the market decides it to go, and not like ADA, which had another incentive like the the big date that was announced. Yet then again, there's really nothing pushing XRP so much more, so why wouldn't the correlation be as high as that of Ethereum? Why is it so significantly lower? You can see ADA had a lot of cool events for itself, XRP had nothing. Why is it such a big difference between these two? Why? And I started thinking, and I noticed, well, it's actually almost impossible to really put up with a good answer, but people have been asking this for years. Even here in 2018 May, Bitcoin's influence over crypto prices could end soon, says the Ripple CEO. It's early. Over time, you'll see a more rational market and behaviors that reflect that, said Garlinghouse. To be honest with you, that's very much true, and it depends really on what exactly made the price pump right now. If it is XRP utility, we can definitely say that it is not yet decoupled, it's just going up because Bitcoin is, but with a little bit extra volatility, or it's using its volatility to go up more. If there's nothing which happened, this basically means that people are anticipating something in the future, or have suddenly changed their mind about this crypto without any big lead up towards it, which could be more in the direction of decoupling because, well, if the coin is performing completely out of its own with no good explanation on multiple days, that's the same thing that Bitcoin does, right? You cannot tell me that for every small move here that Bitcoin makes, we can all point out a really good reason. If we're talking huge moves, like for example, falling 40% or pumping 40%, usually we can. But if we're talking, for example, a 10% day, who knows exactly what made it pump that day, right? It's just the way the market goes. And if that coin can do it, Bitcoin, without it being because of a different coin, and if that coin can do it, respectless or regardless of what any other coin is going through right now, like XRP did, I'm calling it decoupled. And so if we're talking about these last couple of days, that XRP did so much better than Bitcoin, completely with no real reason to do so, just a huge breakout on the XRP to BTC pair and just continuing on more bullish, I'm going to say once more, guys, that this was a completely independent move from Bitcoin. And even though Bitcoin says the narrative and it's bullish right now, it more so looks as if Bitcoin is following XRP and ADA's bullish narrative than Bitcoin really setting the trend right here. That's, again, my own opinion. Now, in the future, you might say that the utility is going to kick in and the settlement and all that type of stuff where, again, we're going to have to look at the correlation and this dependency a little bit differently. Also, one thing you might ask is what are the influence over over these crypto, basically. What is the influence of Bitcoin over these crypto? I try to look it up, but it's really hard to see exactly what influence Bitcoin has, because the best thing we can just look at is the correlation, to be honest with you. Like, what else could we do, guys? What else could we do? We could ask and go for a survey and ask people, like, hey, would you buy XRP if Bitcoin goes up? But there's also a little bit of logic behind it. Usually, the way that it works in the market is, well, people are wanting to buy crypto. Which crypto would they buy? Bitcoin. Which crypto would they then get into afterwards? Well, nothing unless somebody incentivizes them or they learn more and they notice, hey, there's more than Bitcoin and these are all smaller, so I can make more money with those. So which ones do they go for? It depends on the market. The better the market is performing, the crazier the risk people are willing to take, normally. And so if the market is neutral, usually people go for about, some medium to high coins. If the market is bearish, people stay with the really, really big coins, or Bitcoin, literally. And if the market is really bullish, people go for the smaller coins. So technically speaking, XRP really has no good reason to go up right now because it's an extremely bullish market, but people are maybe fearful. Maybe people just want to go for coins which have a really good ROI potential and a really good risk to reward, which ADA proved to them and XRP has proven to them. And Ethereum and Bitcoin have already gone up so much the last couple of runs that people are now validating or trying to validate the fact that XRP usually pumps last but the hardest. Maybe that's it. I don't know. That's a lot of information for you, but it's because crypto is growing like mad, right? We're talking trillions of dollars that are in this space, and nobody can really attribute as to why some of these things happen just quite yet. It's such a vague little area. Nobody can point it out just quite yet. In the bigger markets, the traditional markets, if something pumps with 10%, you'll know exactly why, right? In crypto, though, if something pumps 40%, we still sometimes don't know exactly what happened. Isn't that crazy? And that leads me to wonder, has XRP gone on its own? Well, yeah. Unless some insiders are buying it right now in anticipation because they know something. I guess that could also be so. Then it's not decoupling. Then it's just people, being fakers, I guess. Man, if you guys have any better idea behind it, high development activity, I think, is also BS. I don't really believe in that at all. The development activity, if that was the main factor, then, well, we should have had a big pump here. Right now, development activity is going up and the price is going up. But I think these two are just kind of following each other, basically, because of more projects just launching right now because we went so bullish over the last couple of months. And people right now want to give crypto a shot. Of course, there's a ton of people who joined crypto over the last 2 months. So, yeah, I'm not going to attribute these things to each other because I think, again, we see no big jump in price before this pump happened, only now. So I don't really believe so. Then again, everybody can have their own opinion. I think we covered most of these things. There was such a big story. I tried to comprise it into a little bit less. However, the exact narrative is that there's so many different reasons in which we can kind of find that the correlation between Bitcoin and XRP doesn't really matter. Yet it does show more towards that there's no real relationship that much. No, wait, let me do two steps back because there's definitely a real relationship. That the relationship is not that strong, and that there's definitely an argument to be made that XRP can make some crazy independent moves while still following the narrative of Bitcoin, it kind of breaking out from the normal pattern, like in 2018 when it definitely broke out of the normal pattern. And that can, again, eventually become when Bitcoin goes lower and lower and lower in market cap, or any of the reasons I described before. There's so much to say here, yet if you were to ask me for my honest opinion, I think that XRP decoupled over the last couple of days, and it might continue on for a little while as, again, the gains and the story and the entire environment, it's just acting as if it's an independent asset that does not have too much to do with Bitcoin, when usually that's not the case.